When you look out upon the landscape of television networks, news outlets, talk shows, and podcasts, there is no shortage of distinguished individuals, scholars, educators, and grassroots guest speakers with books that talk about one, if not all, of the issues that your book put forth 16 years ago, such as China's dominance, oil wars, immigration, technology, politics, and the urban conditions on the ground in real time. Let's look at the evidence that your nonfiction book Undercover Smart is no doubt slighted and overlooked based on the book cover.
When was the last time you went shopping? Did you notice some products were out of stock? When was the last time you tried ordering electronics? Did you face a delay in delivery? Why do you think that's happening? Because of China. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's called a supply chain crisis. This is what is happening in the world right now. The United States is running out of Thanksgiving turkeys and Christmas trees. Australia does not have timber to build houses. Russia does not have marble beef and octopus in its restaurants. The UK is falling short of carbonated drinks. Car makers around the world are running out of chips. There is a shortage of toys, PlayStations and Nike shoes. Why? The problem started in China in the year 2020. The Wuhan virus spread through the country. Factories are forced to close. As early as February 2020, Harvard Business Review was predicting a mayhem. It said the most vulnerable companies are those that rely heavily or solely on factories in China. Well, turns out most companies do. You see, China produces 28.7% of the world's goods. It exports goods worth $2.6 trillion every year. From toys to cell phones to laptops, makeup, bridal gowns, China makes all of them. It has cheap labor, it has low taxes. So companies invariably outsource manufacturing to China. It is called the world's factory. But in 2020, China's factories shut down. It could not supply goods to its customers, who had just enough stock to last 15 to 30 days. Then they fell short of supplies. On the 14th of February 2020, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles announced it is temporarily halting production at a car manufacturing factory in Serbia because it cannot get parts from China. Hyundai had to stop plants in Korea because of quote-unquote disruptions in the supply of parts resulting from coronavirus outbreak in China. This virus soon spread, overwhelming one country after another. Factory workers became sick or had to quarantine. Production came to a halt. What happened next? A global supply chain crisis. And to understand this crisis, we must understand what a supply chain is. A supply chain is a network that helps in getting a product from point A to point B. So point A is the factory, the place where the product is made. Point B is the retailer, the place from where you buy the product. Now, getting a product from point A to point B sounds simple. It's not. Take your iPhone, for example. Where do you think it's made? China? Well, yes, it says it's made in China, but China is just one stop along the process. Your iPhone is basically assembled in China. Its parts, the parts that China assembles, come from around the world. 43 countries to be specific. So you could say your iPhone is made in 43 countries. The chips come from Taiwan, the DRAM comes from South Korea, the boxes your phones come in are from the Czech Republic. And you'll be surprised to learn that Apple does not even oversee this manufacturing process. Foxconn does. In short, a supply chain involves multiple players, tens of thousands of workers, several countries, multiple modes of transport. So one delay in one of the points on this chart, like a strike in the Czech Republic, can take the entire supply chain off course by days or months. Now, what happens if there is a crisis at several points of the supply chain? Say in Taiwan, factories are closed because of the Wuhan virus. South Korea's workers have been sent home due to a lockdown. In Czech Republic, truck drivers did not return to work. What happens then? The entire supply chain comes to a halt. It collapses. And this is exactly what was happening by mid-2020, going on to 2021. Demands were high, but supplies had stopped coming in. The United States ran out of ketchup. The United Kingdom ran out of milkshakes at McDonald's. Things got worse in the last few months when countries began reopening, people began going out again, making up for the year-long halt in shopping, checking things off their shopping list. They even began buying things that they wouldn't have bought had there not been work from home and social distancing, like home workstations, laptop tables, spare laptops, smartphones. Since the new normal needed people to spend more time indoors, they even began buying more homes and furniture to furnish those homes. While demand returned, supplies did not. Factories were still not working full scale. Not all workers had returned. Many remained unvaccinated. Many stranded on the wrong side of the border by closures. Transport workers were missing. So the market, you see, was not ready for this buying frenzy. The spike in demand first hit the shipping industry. 90% of the global trade happens via sea. The rise in demand led to the rise in the cost of shipping. It's simple economics. The more the demand, the more the price. Shipping prices rose 85.5% year on year, 85.5%. Consider the world's busiest route, China to US West Coast. The spot rate of last-minute bookings rose to $19,000. The average door-to-door shipping time for cargo went up by 70 days. And ports became overwhelmed with incoming vessels. As we speak, there are billions of dollars of goods stranded off the US coast, but there aren't enough resources to unload those supplies. With cargo containers stranded mid-sea, ports fell short of boxes. Who makes these boxes? The story comes back to China. It is October 2021 and the world needs more containers, but China's factories are closed again. In 2020, when the world needed masks and PPE kits, Chinese factories were closed because of the Wuhan virus. Now when the world needs other supplies, Chinese factories are closing again, this time because of electricity shortage. China is running out of coal stock, prices have skyrocketed and power plants are reluctant to buy more coal, so power supply has stopped to factories. Estimates say at least 44% of China's industrial activity has been affected by power cuts. The world's factory has stopped working for the second time in 2 years. You see, cheap labor is good, low taxes are good for business too. But what global supply chains need is reliability. 19 years ago, China was hit by a SARS epidemic. Back then, China accounted for 4.3% of the world's GDP. When the Wuhan virus hit, China accounted for 16% of the global GDP. It had grown fourfold, placed itself at the center of numerous supply chains, and set the stage for a supply chain collapse.
Number 1. Your book is titled Undercover Smart, 5 Steps to World Domination, and that is your photo on the book cover. Number 2. Your book is non-fiction and was self-published in 2005. According to the latest data from Amazon Books, your book has received a 4.6 out of a 5-star rating and is sold from here to China. That's impressive. Number 3. Since 2005 and as evidenced by current events and word of mouth, your book has maintained its intrinsic value in regard to relevance, perpetual truth, and reality. By word of mouth, everyone today is talking about our current conditions on the planet Earth that you wrote about and published over 15 years back. Number 4. When your book rolled off the press and landed on the bookstore inventory sheets, it sold for $13.95, and more than 15 years later, your book has not fallen in importance, relevance, nor price. Today, your book is still priced at $13.95 or more. That's very impressive. Your book, Undercover Smart, 5 Steps to World Domination, for practical and economic purposes, evidenced itself to be sound, competent, and overwhelming evidence supporting and validating that non-fiction never loses value and that $13.95 for non-fiction is money well spent. That's incredibly impressive. To my audience and listeners, numbers 1 through 4 is prima facie evidence that the book Undercover Smart, 5 Steps to World Domination is slighted, overlooked, and marginalized by mainstream media solely based on the book cover. This show is the Don't Judge a Book by its cover. And after this short break, we will return with author, publisher, and CEO Enoch Mubarak. Before I sign off on this segment of Don't Judge a Book by its cover, I have been asked through my earpiece to ask author Enoch Mubarak for his keen insight on what amounts to an ambush question. Enoch, how do you respond to critics that call into the show to say that it is not your book cover that is being judged, but instead it is black authors such as yourself wasting your time writing books for a generation of black people that don't read books? Well said and duly noted. And on that note, if you have an authored and published book that you feel because of its book cover is maligned, ignored, slighted, or forgotten before the book is even read or the story is told, then we are here for your book. This show is made possible by the Diamond Ranch Shopping Network, where membership to the Diamond Ranch Shopping Network Subscribers Club is available. Okay, until next time, don't judge a book by its cover. Take care, stay in touch, and we will be in touch.
Every day brings with it a different number. And yet, if you are not locked down, sick, disabled, nor living off the generosity of strangers, then this is the most exciting time for you to be alive, when only the strong survive. If I'm talking to you, male or female, then no doubt others depend on you and look up to you to save the day and pave the way. When the day, time, and moment of truth shall come that you need to say with conviction that no one that ever depended upon your name ever went cold, hungry, homeless, or undefended, then I'm talking to the right person. During these times of great change and unpleasantness, you must stay connected to the resources, because merely having money in a post-COVID economy when supplies are in short demand or non-existent is useless. In the post-COVID economy, when you don't have a connection to the complexion for the protection, it's time to belong to a membership website club that specializes in your cup of tea. I've been hired, inspired, and sent here to tell you that the Diamond Ranch Subscribers Club is your cup of tea. Become a member of the Diamond Ranch Subscribers Club and you become a member of not one, but 6 membership websites owned by one company. So you can expect quality, uniformity, substance, depth, and consistency of purpose across the board. I've also been inspired by, hired by, and compelled to give you a taste of having something to believe in and belong to that's designed for you.